There's a lot of people that I think would show up that I don't want there.
Right.
Like, I don't want them there because the reasons for showing up aren't necessarily the best reasons. I don't want people to be crying or people to privately being like, thank God that is dead now.
Where do you want it to be?
Let's do it here at my house. But like party. I want it to be a celebration.
Have you ever wondered what goes through the mind of someone facing their own mortality? Shannen Doherty, the iconic star of Beverly Hills 90,210 Inches and Charmed, was battling cancer and openly talked about her own death.
It's going to come out in a matter of days or a week that I have stage 4. So my cancer came back, and that's why I'm here.
And this is not it. She also talked about some people should not come to her funeral. So isn't it curious that she specifically mentioned certain co-stars she didn't want at her funeral?
There's a lot of people that I think would show up that I don't want there.
Could it be that she had some kind of premonition? Or maybe she knew something about the inner workings of Hollywood that we don't.
Like, I don't want them there because the reasons for showing up aren't necessarily the best reasons.
Doherty's journey with cancer was public and heart-wrenching. But what's even more intriguing is her accusation against her former management company. She claimed they let her health insurance lapse.
They look at you like you're dead man walking, basically, and that they need to say their goodbyes to you or something.
Could there be more to this story? Was there some hidden agenda at play? It's almost like she was suggesting that her management was secretly working against her, maybe even on behalf of some elite group.
My business managers didn't pay my health insurance. And so I didn't have insurance to cover me for going to the doctor. So I didn't go to the doctor. I waited too long.
But why would they target her? Was she a threat to them somehow? And then there's the curious case of her plans to relocate just before she died. What was behind her sudden desire to move? Did she feel unsafe or unwelcome in her current environment?
Yes, I can go back and I can tell the truth of things, which may seem disruptive.
Or could she have been trying to escape something or maybe someone? Was there a sense of impending danger that prompted this decision? It's almost as if she was seeking refuge, but from what or whom?
Like, they don't really like me. And you know what? They have their reasons, and good for them.
As we delve deeper into Shannen Doherty's tragic story, we can't help but ask, was her demise purely a result of her illness, or was there a more sinister plot behind the scenes?
That's the better list. I can't give you a list of who I don't want because that's way too long.
Was her decision to move tied to a deeper fear, a sense that she was being watched or targeted? Why did she feel the need to distance herself from certain people, even in death? Did she uncover secrets that made her a liability? Or was it all just a coincidence?
I'm talking about like people that really don't like me. I just don't want those people there. And I know who they are.
So buckle up, because the questions surrounding Doherty's last days are as haunting as they are numerous. What did she know? And why did she feel so strongly about her funeral guest list? Was her struggle with cancer the only battle she was fighting? Or was there an unseen war that we know nothing about? Shannen Doherty was always pretty upfront about her wishes and beliefs, even down to who she wanted at her funeral. Interestingly, there were 2 co-stars who apparently wouldn't be making an appearance to say their final goodbyes. Everyone knows Shannen Doherty had her share of drama with Jenny Garth from Beverly Hills 90210 and Alyssa Milano from Charmed. Now, according to those close to the funeral planning, it looks like neither of them will be invited to pay their respects. In an episode of her podcast, Let's Be Clear, in January, Doherty expressed that she believes many people would attend her funeral for the wrong reasons. She mentioned that some of these individuals don't genuinely like her and would only come to avoid looking bad. Doherty explained that she wanted to relieve these people of the pressure to attend and desired her funeral to be a celebration of love rather than a place for insincere mourning. She didn't want people crying or privately thinking negative thoughts about her passing.
And so I kind of want to take that pressure off of them.
She had it clear from the beginning. 6 months ago, Shannen Doherty opened her heart and spoke about the possible scenario that would unfold on the day of her funeral. She estimated that when her time came, many people she didn't like would show up to say goodbye. And this interview raised many questions among her fans because it was reported that before her death, she always wanted to move out. She dreamed of living in Italy before her death on July 13th, according to Holly Marie Combs. Combs also mentioned that Drew Fuller, who played her son Chris Halliwell on Charmed, rushed back to the U.S. from Italy to record the podcast after hearing the news of Doherty's passing. She's probably laughing at all of us right now being super sad. Combs remembered her longtime friend. There's a degree of sadness she does want. She wants a proper amount of mourning and crying. But there's also some parts of it. Drew raced back from Italy, and she's definitely laughing at him panicking and getting on a plane for her. That was her goal. Her next trip was going to be to Italy, and she was considering moving to Italy, Combs added. Fuller recalled calling a friend of Doherty's when he heard news of her death. "I told her I'm getting on a plane from Italy right now," he said. "She goes, 'You idiot! Shannon's laughing at you right now. Why are you doing that? It's too late.'" She had previously mentioned that visiting Italy was a bucket list item she finally got to tick off in the year before her death, thanks to her friend and oncologist, Dr. Lawrence Pirro. "You invited me on this amazing yacht with your family, and I got to go to Italy with you, which was like a bucket list item," Doherty told Pirro on the January 1st, 2024 episode of her Let's Be Clear podcast. "By the way, you knew it was on my bucket list. I mean, you called me and said, 'It's kind of a bucket list thing, Shannon.' I was so excited, but life never gave her a chance. Since 2015, the Beverly Hills 90,210 inches actress has faced a battle with cancer that she seemed to conquer in 2017. However, within 2 years, she was diagnosed again, and this time the disease spread to other parts of her body. In 2023, she revealed that the cancer had reached her bones. Shannen Doherty may have been one of the most controversial TV stars of the 1990s, but there's much more to her than just being the person everyone used to love to hate. For one, Doherty has had a successful run in Hollywood, considering that she began her career way back in 1982 as a child star. The Memphis, Tennessee native got her first recurring role on the show, Little House on the Prairie, before the teen sensation Beverly Hills. 90,210 inches launched her into fame years later when she was 19. After that, it was her starring role in the hit TV series Charmed from 1998 to 2001 that was another pivotal point in her career, despite the more than 80 other credits on her long resume. While it's clear Doherty has the talent to last this long in the entertainment industry, it was apparently her reputation for being a bad girl that made her more famous. That's because back in the early days of her career, she frequently made headlines for her hard-partying on-set feuds, rocky romances, and occasional bad attitude, which these days doesn't necessarily seem fair. Doherty even told Parade, "The irony is that if I was doing the same stuff now, I wouldn't be getting the attention." Regardless, Doherty said she's learned from everything she's gone through, which has made her into the woman she is today. However, she's had to overcome more than her fair share of hardships in life. Shannen Doherty had an especially challenging time in Hollywood because she was widely known for being difficult to work with since her Beverly Hills 90,210 inches days. That's when she first became notorious for fighting with her co-stars and behaving unprofessionally on set. While Doherty has since owned up to her mistakes, it seems a lot of her wild antics had actually stemmed from her not knowing how to deal with problems she had in her personal life then as a young adult. A large portion of it was a misunderstanding, she later told People. Some of the things that the tabloids would say about Doherty were also either apparently blown way out of proportion or flat out untrue. She explained to the Sydney Morning Herald, "You're being written about on a regular basis, and 98% of it is complete lies, so it's very hard to read about yourself and not have a reaction." Doherty went on to point out how that all happened before social media too, which means she couldn't even defend herself against unflattering headlines.
What would cause her to be so grown up at an early age?
I don't really know. It's just the way she is. It's her personality.
It can also be assumed that this type of negative attention led Doherty to be passed up for many acting roles or opportunities that she would have had otherwise because of her talent. Her former co-star, Tori Spelling, broke it down to Us Weekly, saying, "She had an unfair rap. Once they gave her that label, it lived with her whole career, and that's unfortunate. It's one thing to be a Hollywood bad girl, but it's a whole other thing to actually get in trouble with the law," which is what happened to Shannen Doherty on more than one occasion. It appears that all started in 1993. When a then 21-year-old Doherty was cited for misdemeanor battery after allegedly fighting with another actor at a nightclub. Later in 1996, Doherty was arrested for vandalism after she was accused of throwing a beer bottle at a car while outside of a bar. While those two brushes with the law weren't good for Doherty and her already tarnished reputation, her next arrest apparently hit her the hardest. That's because in 2000, she spent several hours in jail after she was arrested for drunk driving. It's probably one of the most humiliating, degrading experiences you can ever go through, she told People via ABC News, adding, "It's affected my career. It's affected the way I look at myself." Doherty went on to do community service where she picked up trash and warned teens about the dangers of drunk driving. While she expressed regret over her decision to drive after she had a few drinks that night, she denied that she ever had a drinking problem. She seemingly had been personally affected by alcoholism, though. She told Us Weekly via Digital Spy, "I accompanied my husband to AA meetings. Actually, I forced him to go to one, but I've never actually gone for myself." Shannen Doherty had more than her fair share of harmful career setbacks because she didn't always play nice. While that sounds unreasonable nowadays, Doherty's behavior was rumored to have gotten her fired from the 2 TV shows that made her a star: Beverly Hills 90,210 Inches and Charmed. It's unclear if Doherty was ever actually terminated from either series, but it appears she at least felt pushed out and left on bad terms. Regarding Doherty's Beverly Hills 90,210 Inches departure, she admitted to EW that she was miserable and didn't want to be on set. The show's creator, Aaron Spelling, however, claimed that she constantly distressed her co-stars. "She thought it was time to go, and the cast did too," he explained. Spelling's daughter and Doherty's co-star, Tori Spelling, blamed herself for Doherty's firing because she had complained to her dad about Doherty. She recalled on Celebrity Lie Detector via Distractify, "I felt like I was a part of something, a movement that cost someone their livelihood." Things weren't much better on the set of her next major show, Charmed, because Doherty reportedly didn't get along with her co-star, Alyssa Milano, there. According to TV Guide, the actors started out friendly but eventually had a falling out that apparently resulted in feelings that one of them had to leave the series. That turned out to again be Doherty, who later told ET there was too much drama on the set and not enough passion for the work. Shannen Doherty was dealt an unexpected blow in 2018 after her home burnt down in the Woolsey fires. The wildfire ravaged areas of Southern California, destroying thousands of structures and killing 3 people. One of those structures was Doherty's Malibu home. While many of her personal possessions were presumably destroyed, what seemed to be worse for Doherty was that she lost a place that had so many special memories for her. She took to Instagram to post that it was where she had gotten married in 2011 and where she stayed after her father died. "It's the place I felt my dad with me. It's gone. I'm devastated by all that's happening. My heart is ripped apart," she wrote. Fortunately for Doherty, though, she wasn't home at the time of the fires, so she wasn't injured. Neither were her pets, since her friends were able to evacuate them in time. In another post about the fires, she expressed her gratitude for that, writing, "I'm so grateful that the people I love are safe and my dogs and horse are safe." Doherty went on to thank the firefighters too and send prayers to those who did lose loved ones. Doherty had to deal with the fallout from the blaze for a while, however, since she publicly battled her insurance company, State Farm, when they wouldn't fund the repairs to her home. In 2021, she was finally awarded over $6.3 million in damages after taking them to court.
I waited until my insurance came back up and I was eligible, and then I went to the doctor and got diagnosed with cancer.
Shannen Doherty has dealt with some serious health problems over the years, which had to take a toll on the North Shore star. In 2015, a then 44-year-old Doherty announced that she was battling breast cancer, which spread to her lymph nodes. It was, of course, a devastating diagnosis, yet she told ET that it was what she didn't know that scared her. She elaborated, "Is the chemo going to work? Am I going to have to go through this again? Or am I going to get secondary cancer?" Doherty went on to explain that her pain was manageable, but she found getting a new bra after a mastectomy and losing her hair very traumatic, with both experiences leaving her in tears. While her cancer later went into remission in 2017, she admitted on Good Morning America that she was afraid it would come back in the future. Yet Doherty was determined to find a silver lining. "It made me a better human being. It takes down all your walls, all your barriers, everything that life sort of threw at you," she said. Unfortunately for Doherty, cancer wasn't her only medical problem, since she disclosed back in 1999 that she had the inflammatory bowel disorder, Crohn's disease. Doherty wasn't as open with that diagnosis, though, because of its stigma. She told Star magazine, via Fox News, that she was embarrassed over her bathroom habits, which were a symptom of the disease, saying it was unsexy to discuss with others.
She says what she wants to do is break the stigma around cancer, saying life doesn't end the minute we get this diagnosis. We still have some living to do.
It's no secret that Shannen Doherty has been unlucky in love, having had 2 failed engagements and 3 marriages that ended in divorce. The defunct actor first got engaged in 1991 when she was just 20 years old to real estate manager Chris Fufus. That didn't last long, considering that by 1993, she accepted a proposal from Max Factor heir Dean J. Factor, which, as previously mentioned, didn't end well either. Just months later, she finally got married for the first time to actor Ashley Hamilton. Unfortunately, though, Doherty's curse continued, and by 1994, they were divorced. Doherty's next husband probably sounds familiar because in 2002, she wed Rick Salomon, who became infamous for his 2004 sex tape with Paris Hilton. While Doherty had their marriage annulled before that, she told the Chicago Tribune, it ended up being very embarrassing for me. Doherty later revealed to Parade that she was well aware that she had bad taste in men. It's like, why did I pick these men? I guess it was about what I thought I could do to help them, she explained. By 2011, though, it seemed like Doherty finally found her happy ending when she married photographer Kurt Iswarienko. Doherty gushed about how he had been there for her during her cancer battle, which is why it was shocking when she announced in April 2023 that they split. She even suggested it was because he cheated, by saying through her publicist that his agent was intimately involved. Shannen Doherty may have put Beverly Hills 90,210 inches in her past, but it appears her former co-star Luke Perry always remained special to her. That's probably why she was completely devastated when he died in March 2019 at age 52 after suffering a massive stroke. Doherty took to Instagram to divulge her feelings about his shocking death, writing, "I'm struggling with this loss and am having a hard time with my thoughts." She later reiterated to people that her heart was broken, especially considering that they had reconnected in recent years. "Luke reached out to me during my cancer journey and we picked right back up to find ways to pay tribute." Reboot, BH. After his death, she's continued to honor Perry too. With insurance. It's a bitter pill to swallow in a lot of ways. While Doherty admitted that she wondered why it had happened to her, she claimed that she would carry on fighting and continue to receive treatment. But isn't it weird that one person went through so much during her time in the industry and nobody ever asked for her? Well, her death is nothing but a great mystery. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.